Hey guys, I'm Andrey. Welcome to Markets and Data, a place where I show you how to get data for your markets and how to find markets for your data. But before we get started, please hit the subscribe button faster than you would hit the one button checkout on Amazon so I can keep bringing you better videos and dedicate more time to my channel just for you. So in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the market for Instagram likes, because as many of you know, Instagram likes are very hard to get, especially if you are not as dedicated as some other people on Instagram are, or if you don't have a PR team. So in this episode, I'm going to show you how you can build an Instagram bot using Python, automate the process of liking other people's photos, and draw more attention to your Instagram page so you can focus more of your time on being committed to providing better content and creating better content for your followers on Instagram. So to go ahead and get started, what we will need is a version of Python installed already on your computer, and I will go ahead and show you how you can download some of the other programs and write your own Python script right now. So in order to get started, the first thing we will need to install Selenium for Python. So Selenium is the program that will allow us to run the bot in Firefox or any browser that you choose, and allow us to build a bot out of it. So to do this, we're going to first install Selenium on our computer by typing in pip install Selenium. So I already have Selenium installed, and the installation didn't take me very long. It's very quick, so just go ahead and do this on your computer. And for this tutorial, I'm going to be using Mac, because just like any wife, you only pick one, and any good wife, you usually choose to stick to one. So this is why I'm choosing to stick to Mac OS. If you have any questions regarding Windows machines, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I will try to help you as best as possible. So once we have Selenium installed, we're going to hop over and go to a thing called the Gecodriver on GitHub. So in order to download the Gecodriver, you're going to follow this link and download the version that you need. So for me, it's the Mac OS version that I'm downloading. And basically, Gecodriver, what it allows you to do is it will turn your Firefox browser into the bot that we will be building in the Python language. So once you have your Gecodriver downloaded, you're going to want to find the downloads folder. Once you find Gecodriver in the downloads folder, you're going to want to kick Gecodriver out of that folder as fast as you kicked out your one night stand the other night, because we want to make our tasks a lot simpler of trying to move that file later on into our directory path for Python to use. So go ahead and close this folder. And I've provided a link for you in the description down below where you can find the installation instructions for Gecodriver and Selenium. So going back to our desktop, we're going to unzip Gecodriver, and it should be located now in your desktop. So go ahead and delete the zip folder and hop over to your terminal. So what we're going to type into our terminal, first we have to move over to the directory where we put the Gecodriver. So in my case, it's going to be the desktop. And once we're in the desktop, we're going to type in mv Gecodriver and to the specific path. So in this case, where we find our path is going to be right here in the Gecodriver description on the Selenium page. And we're going to go ahead and paste that in here and enter and move Gecodriver in there. Okay, so for me, I just had to replace local with bin. For you, it might be the other way around, but the instructions for the driver install are right here. So you get to pick either of these options. So that's pretty much it for the installations. We got the hard part over, and now we can go ahead and move to the actual programming step. So to do this, we're going to close this little window. We don't need this anymore, and we are pretty much done with this. And now we're just going to fire up our favorite interpreter. Okay, so once we have our interpreter open, and in my case, I'm using PyCharm, what we're going to do is we're just going to make a new file and call it whatever we want to call it. So let's go ahead and pop open this new file. So I'm going to call mine IB for Instagram bot. Hit OK. And one of the first things that we're going to do is we're going to test out to make sure that Selenium was installed properly. So to do this, we're going to type in from Selenium, import WebDriver. Okay, and it looks like it is installed properly on my computer. And make text a little larger and make this go away right quick. And then next thing we're going to import is going to be the keys from Selenium. So we're typing in from selenium.webdriver.common.keys, import keys. And we're also going to import time for us to be able to put in a sleep time for the computer. So in case the web page does need to load occasionally for Instagram, the timer will be subdued for a little bit while that is happening on your machine. So in this tutorial, I'm going to be building a Instagram bot class because this will give you the infrastructure later on that you need in order to expand your bot if you want to add more features to it. So let's go ahead and do that by typing in class Instagram bot, just like that. So this explanation will pretty much be just as straightforward as that movie Brokeback Mountain, where we're going to figure out what we wanted to do in each step as we go along. So first, in our class, the Instagram bot, we will need to define the variables that we will be using for Instagram to log in and go ahead and start the web page up. So to do this, we're going to type in def, init, and self, and we're going to put in the usual things such as our username, our password, and also our social security number along with our date of birth and our address where we live. Okay, next thing is next, and we're going to build up our constructor. So we're going to say self username is equal to username, and then self.password is equal to password. Good. And then for our constructor, we will also need to launch the WebDriver. So to do this, we will say self.driver is equal to WebDriver.Firefox, since we will be using the Firefox browser to program our bot. So the next method that we will define is the logout method, because my inability to properly instruct you might be fairly high whenever you try to implement this Instagram bot yourself. So when that happens and your Instagram bot fails, you're going to want it to commit suicide as fast as and quickly and as easily possible, so you can go ahead and get on with your life and make a better bot. So to do this, we're going to type in def close browser. The function will be ran on itself, or the method, I'm sorry, and we're going to just type in self.driver.close, and that's it. Hit enter a few times, and now we are ready for our login function. Let's go ahead and define the login function right quick. Login self, and enter. Okay, so before we get on to the next steps, we have to find out what the XPath will be for our login and how we're going to first navigate the Instagram page and tell our bot to log in to our Instagram. So let's go to Instagram. Okay, as you can see here in the first page of Instagram, we have all this nonsense that whenever we first will create an account. So we don't really want this. What we want is the login right here. So let's go ahead and inspect this element and see what kind of XPath this guy will give us. Okay, so here we'll see that we have the tag href equals login. So we can go ahead and write this down in a comment in our program. So we will go ahead and remember that for later, and we don't have to waste too much time going back and forth. So let's go ahead and make a quick comment, and we're going to put parentheses here, 2 forward slashes. We're going to type in a at href accounts / login, close parentheses, close brackets, and close quotes again. Okay, so that will be our href for whenever we will be attempting to find the login button next. Okay. So let's navigate back over to the Instagram page and see what the next step will be that we will need to take with our bot for the login. Okay, as we can see here on the login page of Instagram, what we have is we have our usual suspects, the phone number, username, or email, and along with the password. So that is the information we will need to give to our bot, and in order for the bot to go on this web page and fill out these forms itself and then log in. So same process as before, we're going to inspect the elements and find our XPath. Now, if you don't know what an XPath is, feel free to go to the Selenium webpage and look up how the XPath is used there to kind of get a better feeling of what it is and how it's used. And then also the Selenium webpage will provide you with a few examples of how you can use the XPath. Now, XPath is not the only method of finding these text blocks. There are also other methods that you're able to use, such as the HTML code or just the name of these little blocks where you would fill in your information. Okay, so same process as before. We see that we have the input tag along with a few other things right here, such as the name and username. So let's go ahead and put that into our code right quick so we will know what's going on. And we can make this slightly smaller so we can see what's going on. So same here, just going to open quotes, 2 forward slashes, and we're going to type in input at name is equal to username. Going to close quotes, close the quotes, close the bracket, and close the double quote. And moving on to the password, we're going to inspect the element again, and same input, ID, name equals password. So I'll just go ahead and copy this and just fill in the information that we will need. Okay, now that we have our hrefs, this will save us a lot of time from going back and forth and trying to figure out what information we specifically need for our Instagram bot. So the next step we can do is we can try to launch the Firefox browser and try to navigate over to the Instagram page. So to do this, we will need a WebDriver first, and to make it a little easier, I'm going to just define the WebDriver for the class as driver here by typing in driver equal to self.driver. Then the next step we will try to get the actual page using the Firefox browser. And in order to do this, we're going to type in driver.get open quotes, and we can come over here to Instagram, just copy the URL and paste it into there. Let's go ahead and fix this typo, driver. So the next thing we will do is we will need to give our bot a little bit of time for the page to load before it continues on to the next step. So we're going to do this by giving it a little bit of sleep time. And 2 seconds should be plenty, at least for my internet connection. For your internet connection, it might be faster or slower. It all depends on where you're at, what kind of internet provider you are using. Okay, so at this step, I think we've already programmed enough code to give us a start on at least opening the web browser. So let's go ahead and test to see how that is working. So let's exit our class here, and we're going to just define the class. And we're going to say Andrey's Instagram is equal to Instagram bot. And we're going to fill in our username, and the username will be Awesome Possum 98765. And the password will be password 12345. Okay, and now we can go ahead and test this class by using our login method that we just made. So let's go ahead, type in login, and run our program. Okay, great. This is exactly what we want to see. As we programmed our Instagram bot, we told it to just open the web browser and to log in. So this is what you should see once you type in the following code that I just did. So at this point, we definitely know that everything is working properly, and we can go ahead and exit out of this portion. As we saw earlier, we have this login button at the front of the page where we click login around right here, and it took us over into this portion where we could log in. So next we will need to define what that button is on that web page. Let me go ahead and just go back to Instagram.com so you know exactly what I'm talking about. So it is this button right here that we first got the code for, the xref code. So let's go ahead and type in login button is equal to driver.findElement by xpath. And since we already have our xpath right here, we're just going to cut it and we're going to paste it into this portion right here. Once we do that, once we program our browser to do that, we're going to type in login button dot click. Okay, so what these two lines of code will do is they will tell the browser what we are specifically looking for, and that is the login button. So the browser will find that login button on the front page of Instagram, and it will click on it, causing the browser to go on to the next step of the Instagram page and to the login page. So once it goes to the login page, what we need to do is we need to give the browser some time again so it can load the page. And we're going to do that by typing in time.sleep. And we're going to give it another 2 seconds. So the next step will be to fill out the forms on the second page of Instagram where we log in. So after we click the login button, we are back again on this page where we are asked for our information. So let's go ahead and fill that information out by doing the same thing that we did with our login button, but a little different by giving the browser some text to put into those text blocks. So to do this, we're going to just define our variable as username lm or username element. We're going to say driver.findElement by xpath. We have our xpath right here. Just go ahead and cut it, put it inside there, and we're going to say username lm.clear. So if there's anything inside that box, the browser will go ahead and just wipe it from the face of the earth. So then again, we're going to say username lm, and at this time we're going to send it some keys, and the keys that we're going to send it is going to be self.username. So that will be our username being entered by the bot into this block right here. Let's go ahead and type in password underscore element is equal to, and we can go ahead and just copy this because it's going to be the same thing. Find by xpath, and we already have our xpath right here. Just going to cut it and paste it, and close your quotes. And same process as before. We're going to clear the text block if there's anything inside, and we're going to say password. Oops, I didn't see that password was misspelled. Let's go ahead and just quickly fix that. Password, and we're going to send it some keys, and those keys will be self.password. So once we have that password, usually most of us will hit just enter on our keyboard in order to go ahead and advance to the actual login page of our Instagram. So we can simulate this with our bot as well by typing in password element dot send key, send keys, and we're going to specify the key as our enter key or our return key basically. So type return. So at this point, let's go ahead and clean up our code and see if we can run our program and what will happen if we get any errors or not. So let's run it and see. So it looks like the browser's being opened. Wait for it to load. Then it should go over to the next page, and it looks like it doesn't. So let's try to see what happened here. Okay, so it looks like I missed the equal sign here, and we also have to put a forward slash here and another forward slash right here for this code to work. So let's go ahead and run it and see what happens. And while we're doing that, we can close our old Instagram bot. Let's look over here if it's run properly. Okay, perfect. So this is exactly what we wanted. So I don't know if you saw that, but basically the Instagram bot, it filled in all of the fields properly and logged into the Instagram account. We're just going to specify 2 seconds for sleep. So whenever the login page loads for us after our bot logs in, it won't be trying to go anywhere else. It'll just wait for everything to finalize before moving on. Okay, so next thing we'll want to do is we'll want to tell our bot to go onto Instagram and just like a 14-year-old girl, to like everyone's photo that it comes across. So that person whose photo that our bot likes will in return hopefully come to our Instagram page and check it out. So let's go ahead and program that function right now. So we're going to type in def and like photo. And we will also give our method an explicit parameter, hashtag, so that it will go to the specific hashtags that we specify and like the photos in that category. And as before, we're going to say driver is equal to self.driver, and we will go ahead and type in driver.get. And now we need a URL. So to get the URL, we just need to quickly log into our Instagram account from before and grab the URL for the hashtags that the bot will be going to. So let's go ahead and log in right now. Okay, so let's see what happens when we type in New York for our hashtag. And in order to navigate our bot to this page, all we have to do is just grab the URL from up here and replace this New York hashtag portion with our hashtag. So let's go ahead and do that by typing in this and replace New York double quotes and plus signs and going to type in hash. Hashtag in here and done. And we're going to say, and we're going to tell the bot to sleep for a few seconds so that the web page again will load and we don't have to worry about it too much. So as you know, on Instagram, you do not get the whole web page of pictures altogether. You have to go to Instagram and you have to scroll down in order for Instagram to load more pictures. So in order to simulate that, we're just going to put in a simple for loop and tell our bot to simulate the scrolling down to the web page before we go ahead and get the URL for each single picture, so our bot will be able to visit those pictures and hit the like button on each one. So to do this, we're just going to type in So now that the web page has loaded and we have a sufficient amount of pictures on that web page, what we will need to do is we need to go find the link for each single picture on the Instagram page. So right here, this is the URL that we are looking for. And we want to take this URL and we want to put it into our browser so that the browser will navigate over to that picture. Okay, let's go back into our code and we're going to say hrefs is equal to driver dot find element by tag name, and then we're going to say the picture hrefs is equal to, we're going to make a compact for loop and we're going to say lm for lm in hrefs. Okay, so next step will be just to clean the links, because unlike your Tinder account, we do not want to just hit accept on all of the hrefs that we get. And for peace of mind, we're just going to print out exactly what is going on each time we run our program. Let's go ahead and just run it to see what happens and make sure that everything is ran properly before moving forward. So we're just going to type in like photos as our method, and let's go ahead and run it to see if we get any errors. Specify New York very quick. Go ahead and exit out of this and rerun it. Okay, it looks like I missed the command here. What we need to say is we need to execute the script. Okay, as you can see here, the browser is pushing those pictures down, and it pushed them down enough to where we have like 45 photos for the New York hashtag. So it seems that everything up to this point is working properly and we can move on to the next step. of actually going to each individual link and liking that photo. So since we have all the pick hrefs here, all we need to do is just specify the URL to go to, and we can do this by using a for loop and going that route. So let's type that in. We're going to say for pick href and pick hrefs, and what we're going to get will be the pick href for every single href and pick hrefs, and we're basically going to scroll down again once we get to that landing page. Once we scroll down, we need to go ahead and try to like that picture. Let's go ahead and tell our program to like the picture that we find. So we're going to say driver.find element by link text, and the link text will be our good old like button, and it will be capitalized, and we're going to say that it should go ahead and click on the like button. So once our program clicks on the like button, we will need to give it some time to sleep and think things over, basically think over its decisions in life and why it's liking each Instagram photo on the page. And we're going to put in an accept statement here, and we're just going to accept any exception. Let's say as E, and we're going to go ahead and tell it to sleep again for 2 seconds this time. So the reason I'm specifying 18 here is because the 18 seconds wait time will roughly translate into liking that 200 pictures per hour, which is Instagram's limit at the current moment. Let's go ahead and run our bot one more time to make sure everything is working properly and that it is definitely going into everyone's hashtag that we have specified. Now, the hashtags that we have specified will take some time to get through, so I won't show you the next process or the next step that the bot is taking, but you're pretty much guaranteed that the bot will go onto the hashtag pages that you have specified and like those hashtags there. Now, to make your bot a little better, you should probably specify the specific hashtags that you want it to go to in order to better maximize your like ratio and your followers for your particular niche market. Well, so that's pretty much it for the Instagram bot. We basically programmed the equivalent of a 14-year-old girl sitting on her couch watching cartoons on a Saturday morning on Instagram, liking every single photo that she comes across. So I really hope this video was helpful, and I really want to hear from you down in the comments below how I can improve my videos or improve my code. And until then, let's go ahead and see what happens with the bot tomorrow.